Look at the UVTV, motherfucker. I'm at a kid spiritual ass and do this for my people. On God. Neon nigga for feather yeah. And today I'm gonna be talking about the core things which leads to breakups, divorce, and not dealing with the uncertainties when it comes to relationships. Now, just in general, right? When it comes to all these different energies, they all kind of in the same box. Because this is really just the gripes of being single and independent, free flowing. You know what I'm saying? Independent, free flowing, not caring, uh, attention span. All of this kind of is built up into the masculine energy, and the masculine energy is just built up and constructed based upon thoughts and feelings, and based upon we like to build and construct and create, or like the godly type of energy, we turn that into a goddess type of energy. That would be like attractiveness, emotions and feelings, and containing a womb, a pussy, taking in something instead of giving it out, instead of producing it, masculine energy. We're gonna take and receive what you know what I'm saying, what's actually being produced, so we can find different ways to reproduce it, so it can just lead back into the masculine energy again. So look at that as it turned into an idea, and then you thinking about the idea, it turned to a feeling, and then that feeling is going to turn to an emotion or a specific feeling. A specific feeling is just an emotion that you're going to get motivated by and moved, and it's going to turn into that ending process of, you know what I'm saying, you going through that evening time, just like during the evening time when the sunlight to set, during that dusk or the twilight zone, and it going into darkness and it turn into the nighttime. It's gonna go through that transition, and then you have to find another idea to build up off of the emotion that you just went through, aka the experience you just went through, and now you have to find another observation, another attention span, another awareness that you can build up off of, so you can have another idea that you can, you know what I'm saying? It's like expansion, contraction. Like you're expanding on something and then it condensed and contracted and got contained into a womb, so you could do some new type of outside the box thinking to get out that, to basically get outside that box, get outside that container, or expand the womb, expand the container that you're in and stuff like that, expanding the world. And then yeah, like you have to keep going through that process and that mechanism over and over again. But that's the process. We have sex within the mind first, taking two or different energies to create another energy. Thoughts and feelings, sons, daughters, children turning into men, basically. Yeah, children going through that adolescence turn into men. Sons turn into men, and then daughters turn into women. You know what I'm saying? It's just becoming more mature, and you have to keep going with that process. The minute you stop, that's where it leads to energies of what I'm talking about right now. So it leads to breakups or divorce or not dealing with the uncertainties when it comes to relationships and stuff like that, because it leads to you relating. And yeah, it's just you dealing with the gripes of being single and independent, but still desiring slash complaining about why you can't find a partner. So females be going through this energy at a high percentage scale. On God, they be going through this at a high percentage scale, because look at that as men being walking attention span, walking frequencies, they're walking logic. So women are walking attractiveness, walking vibrations, walking emotions and feelings, walking uncertainty. And they like to be in that opposing type of energy because it's the opposite of what the man is doing, thoughts and feelings. So it's a mechanism that's building something up. You basically like fulfill something, and then you drain it, consume it until it becomes unfulfilled, and then you fill it back up again. You fill up the container again, you know, and stuff like that. The same way how you have sex and reality and stuff like that when it comes to breeding. And I don't have to go no further than that. You know what I'm saying? It's the same thing. It's the same energy for the most part. So niggas want to be in that fatherly, I'm the man, I'm the dog and stuff like that. The creative, I'm trying to go far with something, the big dick energy and stuff like that. I'm trying to have certainty. I'm trying to have confidence. I'm sure about what I want to do. And then females, they like to be walking unsurety for the most part. So it's an accumulation of a whole bunch of certainties, and it's an accumulation of light, aka darkness. Light is just the lighter shape and form, so it's not as heavy. And then the feminine energy will be making something heavy, making something contained, making you hold on to something. But from you holding on to something, you end up draining something for all it's worth until it's completely dried up. So that's like you having some juicy, enticing fruit to bear, and you eating up, consuming, or drying up all the fruit. And then now you have to plant more seeds to grow more fruit to make it be high hanging fruit again and stuff like that. So it's like the masculine energy in itself when it comes to building and constructing. We're trying to make high hanging fruit that's everlasting, and the feminine energy will turn that into low hanging fruit that's easier to access and stuff, right? But it can lead to things like it becoming of its fullest maturity. That's why it's low hanging fruit now, from the fact it was on the highest on the tree, and now it's starting to, you know what I'm saying, become lower in the tree and stuff like that. But eventually it's going to turn to a thing that is like degenerate. It's like dying, deteriorating, like it's temporary. It's like a monetary gain. It's like they think more in a monetary type of way of what's something we could do to hold on to this for right now, but we need to find other ways to keep this going for a long period of time. And that's where niggas start to come in, or the masculine energy start to come in to fulfill that pocket and stuff like that. It's not inherently, oh, like only men have to do this. Women can do this too. But I'm explaining the dichotomy between masculine and feminine just in general, because we all have dots and feelings in that spirits. We all androgynous. So it's always about like a balancing thing. Otherwise, it's going to lead to hormonal imbalance and stuff like that. And that's really what they talk about when it comes to men having testosterone when it comes to their reproductive system, and then females having estrogen when it comes to their reproductive system and stuff like that. You end up having hormonal imbalance the minute you start being too feminine or being too masculine on either end. You know what I'm saying? Because you're overcompensating for something, but you're lacking, or you're having a deficiency, and that leads to things like vitamin deficiencies and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like scientists and all this type shit be understanding what the fuck be going on, and they make up different terminologies about what that is. But from an overall like spiritual perspective, we kind of already building these things up already. So like we already naturally produce these estrogens and testosterone and blood cells and tissues and, you know what I'm saying, like processes and mechanisms to make our organs and our, you know what I'm saying, veins, blood flow and all that type stuff, so we can flow properly, so we can be free flowing as a spirit, or free spirited and carefree and stuff like that. Like we already make these things up. It's just y'all don't look at it like that. Y'all kind of get lost into the external world and technology and the things they made as different devices and tools, like pharmaceutical pills and going to CVS and Walgreens and all that type stuff. That it be like y'all end up relying on things outside of you instead of trying to produce it yourself internally first. As within, so without. You have to do something within, and then it's gonna show the outer example of what something look like. You put something above, or you put yourself first, and then it's gonna go into the distance of people can see you at a distance, and it becomes the below. And that's really what the fuck they talking about when it comes to all that type of stuff. But like, yeah, but it's in general, yeah, you're just being inherently too masculine and attached, leading you to a situation in which you are forced to be more feminine, aka finding more reasons to keep holding on to something enough. So if you're in this energy, it just leads to deflecting type of energy. So if you're deflecting, it's just you self-projecting, and everything's a self-projection, and you're only going to be self-projecting what you're self-reflecting about. So all the way down to something negative and stuff like that. If you're self-projecting, worrying about the negatives or what could go wrong about something, and you being uncertain about certain things, that's what you're self-reflecting about. You're self-reflecting about your own insecurities, and you're just utilizing those different deflections as a way, as like an esoteric cloth, aka feelings and emotions. You're trying to cover it up. So from you trying to cover it up, anytime you're trying to tell a lie, you still telling the truth. You're still showing your true state of being. You're basically still showing your true state of being, but you're using those feelings and emotions, that spiritual cloth, to cover something up, aka like a insecurity and things of that nature, so you don't feel vulnerable or exposed, so you can just see something for what it is and stuff like that. All it is just manipulation. Anytime you lie, you're still showing your true state of being, but you're just covering up using manipulation tactics, but you still showing your true state of being. You're just showing you basically just showing you're just a really manipulative, insecure type of person, from the fact you had to do that on a high percentage scale. I'm not trying to say being manipulative is inherently wrong. It's just when you go too far with that, that's what it leads to. You just being a bitch. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like you being stuck in between and you getting lost into translation. So like I was saying before, with the whole mechanism, ideas, thoughts, feelings, and emotion, it's like you getting caught up between the mechanism and stuff like that. So from you stopping and you getting lost into a certain process and stuff like that, that's when it leads to organ implosion. That's when it leads to, you know what I'm saying? Like you end up imploding on yourself because you started holding on to things that are unhealthy. Look at that as you're not caring about your well-being spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. So it leads to actions and physical circumstances and stuff like that where it don't go in your favor, and you feel like you're like a stuck in a hard place type of person just in general, or you're hard to handle, you're hard to work with because of stuff like that. Because you come off too detached, and you come off like you don't care, and you come off you don't want a companion, or you don't want to be a part of something, which leads to things like breakups and divorce. So on God, stop running away from shit. You know what I'm saying? Same way when you sit there and you trying to have sex and stuff like that, and then yeah, don't run. You know what I'm saying? Don't run. Don't run. Stop being take it. You know what I'm saying? Don't run. But point being is right. It's turning into that dissolving energy, right? Because a divorce is like you're going through a dissolve, so you're not going through a solution or a conclusion. So from you getting stuck in between the process and you being lost in translation and you not finishing the whole thing, you didn't hold on to something long enough, so now you have to go through a divorce because y'all ain't willing to basically have some type of rapport, coexist with each other, companionship, working together, compromise, compassion. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna dissolve because y'all ain't trying to solve the issues that y'all trying to be distant from, because that's all dissolving is. Distant solutions. Dissolving is just distant solutions that don't wanna come together to try to keep it compact, so it's gonna melt away. So it's like, spiritually speaking, it's taking something light and it becoming heavy. So masculine, feminine, right? You taking something that's light, like a thought idea, free flowing and stuff like that, being fly, and then you making it condense. You're making it heavy to make it so, oh, okay, now it's some weight. You gotta hold that. You know what I'm saying? You some weight you gotta hold, and then it's like physically becoming hard about something, and then it becoming soft. So you're going so hard about it, and you working on it so much to the point to where later down the line it leads to it becoming soft or delicate or easy or effortless for you to do, because you got the hard part out the way. You already did everything you want to do, or you did, you know what I'm saying? You already built something enough to where now it's substantiated, and then now it's easier to where now you can have that comfort zone and you don't have to try as hard compared to when you first started out, even though you're supposed to keep trying to keep going hard in the paint, keep trying to make that everlasting, keep trying to, you know what I'm saying? Find different mechanisms, find different things that you ain't good at yet to keep that going and stuff. But like, yeah. So marriage is like sex. So from marriage being like sex is just taking two different energies and combining it together to make a whole different energy. And marriage is based upon companionship or being in wedlock, or, you know what I'm saying? Taking two or more different energies and y'all holding on to get together with something to make another energy. But you have to keep upholding it. And it's like you have to keep on finding more reasons to have more awareness, to have more attention span, to keep creating more, to keep that family together and stuff like that, to keep that bond together and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So based upon you trying to contain it and hold on to that closeness, if you get distant from that itself, it leads to distance, separation, and growing apart and being scatterbrained. So from you being scatterbrained, it's like you're aware about certain things, but you don't know how to hold it together. So it's all over the place. So it's kind of like it's like you get into a position, but in the minute you get into that position, you don't know what to do with it. You work so hard to accomplish that goal, that dream, that imagination or whatever, right? That achieve, like you end up achieving something, and then you end up getting to a certain position, certain rank, certain circumstance, to where you got to the promised land, but now that you got it, you don't know what to do with it. Or you get it, but you still feel unfulfilled. That's when it leads to energies like that. Because in general, we have a relationship with ourselves first. So it goes into what I was saying before with the whole spiritually and mentally, and then it trickles down into something physical, right? We have a relationship with ourselves first, and we always on this train of thought and line of reasoning and stuff like that. So we always going through different experiences, observations, awarenesses, attention span, and then turn it into something attractive to make it be something that other people want to be a part of. So expansion, contraction. So we having thoughts and ideas, they turn to feelings and emotions and experiences, and then it leads to us creating a better idea to keep that going based upon what state of being that we in. And based upon that state of being and state of awareness is going to lead to us facilitating that state of awareness and attention span to make it so this is something that is inspiring, or this is something that other people want to be a part of, just like an emotion and feeling, because it feel good and it feel pleasurable and stuff like that. So you want to keep that going, and that's what lead the energies of thinking more positive and all that type stuff, being more productive. Because the minute you be unproductible and you stop, that's when it leads to you getting more and more distant from the starting point of what you feel like you should be doing based upon your pure state of being, and that's the thing you really like, but you get lost in translation. You get lost into an insecurity. You get lost into a validation. You get lost into a monetary gain. You know what I'm saying? Like it's very simple things like that. So you always want to build, construct, and fulfill something, masculine energy, and it leads to consuming, draining, and you're like unfulfilling it. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna go through its fullest maturity, and eventually it's gonna start to deteriorate and fall off, so to speak. So it's like a spring, summer, fall, winter. Spring and summer will be more above the horizon or the hottest time of the year. So if it's something that's hot, it's something that's enticing, spicy, you know what I'm saying? High in temperament. So if it's high in temperament, right, it's a lot of, you know what I'm saying? It's like heat in the kitchen and stuff like that. Like you feel it. So from you feeling it, it's more personal. It's like more in your face. So it's more, you know what I'm saying? Like connected. It's more sentient. It's more connected. It's more lively. So from the fact it's more lively and connected, and you know what I'm saying? It's like a motherfucker who like in heat and stuff like that. But if they in heat, you really feel what they in. You know what I'm saying? Like they feel really passionate. They feel really lively. Like they're not distant from it. It don't feel like they're detached. It don't feel like they don't give a fuck. It feel like no, they care about it a lot. They added a lot of emotion and feeling towards that. You know what I'm saying? They showing a lot of expression when it comes to, you know what I'm saying, trying to make that thing compared to it being fall and winter. And when it start to become fall and winter, fall time, that's when it starts to build up into its fullest maturity. But that's when it starts to die out and deteriorate. And then it leads to wintertime when things are completely cold, dead, distant, and they're completely inactive. But the positive area of that is you went through the full mechanism and you was able to go through everything you need to go through to where it end up going through, you know what I'm saying? It ended up serving its purpose type thing. Like you end up serving its purpose when it comes to that thing. Now when it goes through another spring and summer, is you springing off another idea, germinating that seed, and it's going to bloom into another thing that basically comes to life that everyone can be a part of, or a new expression, a new passion that can be seen, a new attention span, a new action, a new productivity and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Above the horizon, below the horizon and stuff. So you have to set aside your differences to make those different agreements, but y'all both have to be on the same page. It leads to that same page type of energy as well. So from y'all being on the same page and y'all having that agreement and y'all know the purpose, y'all know the starting point, that's when it leads to y'all just have to keep on upholding based upon what the starting point is. But you ain't going to give a fuck about the starting point, aka long ass marriages, unless y'all keep on trying to find more reasons to keep going, finding more attention span, finding more awarenesses, finding more seeds to plant, more thoughts and ideas, finding more things to keep on creating how y'all felt when y'all first met each other and stuff like that. To keep, you know what I'm saying? It just leads to more productivity. The minute you self-sabotage and the minute you stop, it just means internally you doing something like that, or it leads to you're getting enticed by somebody else and what someone else got and what they're creating for themselves, and they seem way more enthused and way more enticed, or look at it as way more youthful. You know what I'm saying? Way more lively, sentient and stuff like that. They're in their inner child. So from the fact they keep on creating more compared to what your partner is doing, that's what it leads to. Oh, I gotta separate. I gotta go my separate way and stuff like that. I want to go be a part of what they're seeing and what they're part of and stuff like that. You seem too in a comfort zone. You seem too, you know what I'm saying? Like it's always these type of energies for the most part. Like a person being too much into a comfort zone and they feel like they ain't, you know what I'm saying? They feel like they did enough and they don't got to do nothing else. No, you have to keep on finding more reasons. But that don't mean get into the degenerate type of things and then you start thinking, oh, I have to physically buy things to try to retain it. I have to keep on doing things when it comes to the external world. No, these are internal things first. So it's kind of like it leads to energies of spirit, like, you know what I'm saying? Like being in the spirit more. It's kind of like y'all both have to be in the same state of being. Y'all both have to be into the same things already. Y'all both have to be a part of the same state of awarenesses. You always going to have those issues, but you rather deal with those issues with that person compared to somebody else. And that's what leads to energies of having long marriages, because you rather deal with their problems compared to all these people, you know what I'm saying? Like other people's problems and stuff like that. You rather have a relating companionship, compromise, coexist with them than exist with somebody else and make them part of your space and stuff like that, because y'all both sharing space. You rather share space with that person compared to somebody else because it's not as enticing to you. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not as fun. And then yeah, it's like that's like the simplest way of how to do it. But in a more simplified way to put it, right? These are just core things which leads to breakups, divorce, and not dealing with the uncertainties when it comes to relationships. And we're taking things that are unseen and making them seen. We're taking things that are uncertain and making more reasons why we should be certain about it in general. So we're just taking the qualities that we already see and try to find the untapped potential of what we're not seeing.